In this presentation, we're looking at two key ideas from social psychology that explain why ordinary people sometimes obey terrible orders. These ideas come from the psychologist Stanley Milgram, who introduced the terms autonomous state and agentic state. Milgram became interested in obedience during the trial of Adolf Eichmann in 1961. Eichmann helped organize the transport of millions of Jews to the death camps during the Holocaust. In court, he said, "I was just following orders."
Der Führer hat die physische Vernichtung des Judentums befohlen.
Eichmann denied personal responsibility. He claimed he was simply doing what his superiors told him to do. And this is the exact behavior that Milgram was trying to explain. Let's define the terms autonomous versus agentic state. The autonomous state. Autonomous means independent and responsible. A person in the autonomous state thinks, "I choose my actions and I'm responsible for the consequences." They use their own moral judgment, the agentic state. Agentic comes from the word agent. An agent is somebody acting on behalf of somebody else. And in the psychological context, if a person is in the agentic state, they're thinking, "I'm following the orders of an authority. That's the person or people who gave me the orders, and they are responsible, not me." So they hand over moral responsibility to the authority figure. Here's what one of the participants in Milgram's obedience experiment said during debriefing.
Well, who was actually pushing the switch?
I was. But he kept insisting. I told him no, but he said he's got to keep going.
Milgram said people can move from autonomous to agentic when they see someone as a legitimate authority, and we call this change the agentic shift. Milgram showed this in his electric shock experiment. When participants were told the experimenter was responsible, many continued shocking the learner.
Please continue. Go on, please.
You accept all responsibility?
The responsibility is mine, correct. Please go on.
Adolf Eichmann was a classic example of the agentic state. He obeyed powerful authority figures, he claimed he was not personally responsible, and he said he had no choice. This is obedience based on hierarchy and authority. Let's look at another case, the My Lai massacre. This happened in 1968 during the Vietnam War. American soldiers entered a village expecting enemy fighters. Instead, they found unarmed civilians, men, women, children, and elderly people. They began indiscriminately killing the civilians. Over 400 were massacred. Afterwards, many soldiers justified their actions with phrases like, "We were just following orders. I would have been punished if I disobeyed." This is the agentic state in action.
The lieutenant said, "Well, go in and kill everyone." He was always near me anyway, so I think I killed about 18 or 20 people.
People like that soldier did not see themselves as responsible. They believed their officer, Lieutenant Kelly, was responsible. But here's something crucial. Not everyone obeys. There are times when people refuse to enter the agentic state, and they remain autonomous. Example 1. Lieutenant Albert Battel in 1942. During the Second World War, an SS unit arrived to clear a Jewish ghetto and take the people to an extermination camp. Lieutenant Battel, a German army officer, blocked the bridge and stopped the SS convoy. He instructed his men to point their rifles at the SS troops and told them they would be fired on if they didn't leave. Then, with the blessing of his commanding officer, he even rescued between 80 and 100 Jews, using German army trucks. Battel stayed in the autonomous state. He understood that the government's extermination policy was evil, and he risked his career and safety to protect fellow human beings. Another example of someone remaining in the autonomous state, and for this one, it's back to the My Lai massacre. An American scout helicopter pilot named Hugh Thompson saw civilians being murdered by U.S. troops.
He landed his helicopter between the soldiers and the civilians. He ordered Colburn and Andreotta to aim their weapons at the approaching troops, and to open fire if anyone attacked him or the civilians. Thompson approached the group and convinced them that he was there to help. Since he couldn't carry them all himself in his helicopter, he radioed 2 friends who flew in UH-1 Hueys to extract them safely.
So, not everyone accedes to authority. Some people are able to resist being forced into an agentic state when they know that what they are being told to do is morally wrong. Why this matters? Milgram's big message was this: ordinary people can commit terrible acts if they believe a legitimate authority is responsible. But we also see that some individuals stay autonomous and refuse to obey harmful orders. So, a final summary: the autonomous state is where you act independently and take responsibility. The agentic state is where you obey authority and pass responsibility upward. And an agentic shift is moving from autonomous to agentic when under authority. And real-world examples that we looked at: Adolf Eichmann in the agentic state, the My Lai American soldiers, agentic state, and then Lieutenant Battel and Hugh Thompson going against the flow in the autonomous state. Once you understand these ideas, you can see how obedience and authority can shape human behavior for great harm or for good.